So, I am going to be talking about this man, Isaac Newton, and I'll be trying to answer the following question. Why is Isaac Newton one of the most important people in the history of humanity? So, let's have a look at what were Newton's achievements. Newton played a crucial role in the field of optics, unknown to many of us. Experimenting with light, Newton employed a prism to break white light into the colours of the spectrum, and then to recombine these into white light. Amongst so many other things, this experiment later led to spectroscopy, which is the study of the interaction between matter and radiated energy. Spectroscopy has applications in many areas, and here is just one of them, where light is used to detect alterations in the human body in a non-invasive way. Still in the field of optics, Newton also invented the reflecting telescope. Because of his inventions, we now have things like this nowadays. The Gran Telescopio in the Canary Islands, Spain, which was built to observe space and therefore gain more knowledge of the universe. Just look at the kind of images you can get from this gigantic telescope. Absolutely breathtaking images. Imagine how much astronomers have learnt from images like this, and all thanks to the invention of what is known as the Newtonian telescope. The 5th of July 1687 is considered one of the most important dates in the history of science, and this is so because on this date Newton published this book, simply known as Principia, and for many people the most important book in the history of science. In this book, Newton put forward two groundbreaking ideas: the three laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation. In case you have forgotten, the three laws of motion are: first, that with no outside forces, objects will never move, and once in motion and with no external forces, an object will never stop moving. The second law states that the greater the force you apply for an object to move, the greater the acceleration will be. And the third law states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And now we come to Newton's law of universal gravitation. One of the best known anecdotes in the history of science is the one where young Isaac was sitting under a tree when an apple fell on his head. This made him ask, why is it that objects don't fall sideways or upwards? He concluded then that there is a force that attracts all matter in the universe. That is the force of gravitation. Gravitation is the force that attracted the apple to the ground and that keeps the moon orbiting the Earth and the planets in the solar system around the sun. So in short, firstly, because of his experiments with light, which culminated in the birth of spectroscopy. Secondly, because of his invention of the reflecting telescope, which nowadays allows us to view the universe as never before imagined. Thirdly, because of the three laws of motion. And fourthly, the principle of gravitation, both of which provided us with an understanding of how the physical world operates. I can conclude that Isaac Newton is one of the most important people in the history of humanity.